You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Eventful day. Jon Stewart returning to executive produce The Daily Show and host it on, I guess, Armchair Quarterback Mondays during the election cycle. That's massive. I just learned Billy Joel is releasing new music for the first time in decades. He made it an edict that he wasn't going to turn back on that. He was just done writing new music. And
hasn't forgive me on Billy Joel, but hasn't he basically, for people who love Billy Joel, have they not been disappointed in him because it feels like he's just been playing his classics at Madison Square Garden every month? He can sell it out, and he's not doing anything new creatively.
Well, I know people who went to a Billy Joel concert recently and were not blown away. He did not play for as long as he should have. He might be getting maybe a little lazy about it. I don't know.
Well, the song is called "Turn the Lights Back On," so clearly an attempt at a comeback here. But
or is that
"Turn on the lights"?
Or is that
there? It is.
Or is that him poking fun at himself for the viral video of him performing? Like, stop lighting the audience.
Could be.
Stop lighting the audience. They're my show. Well, either way, I'm excited about it, but I want to talk to you guys about Celebrity Jeopardy because our friend Katie Nolan went on a Cinderella-like run all the way to the finals, and I watched the finals of Celebrity Jeopardy. It was Mo Rocca, Katie Nolan, and not the Lisa Ann that I was more familiar with, a different Lisa Ann.
Oh, God.
Also, don't Google that at work. We learned from Taylor. So, Katie was dominating wire to wire the entire time. And then Mo Rocca got lucky with a daily double. That was a Ken Burns question, super easy. And he went into Final Jeopardy as the leader. But Katie's still well within striking distance. So they go across the board. Katie was up first for Final Jeopardy, and it was like literary cliches. It was a 4-word cliche for something that went back to a novel in 1930 where a servant was to blame for something tragic. So I'm in my living room and I'm counting. The butler did it. That's got to be the answer. But it wasn't Katie's answer, and she risked all of it. And she lost on what is something, if I know it, something that was seemingly easy. I think she answered the doctor is in. And then Mo Rocca got it wrong too. And Lisa Ann went from a very distant third to actually winning Celebrity Jeopardy.
Oh, no.
She was representing the Actors Union, and she didn't know who Orson Welles was. This was like not a great winner for this certain competition. Katie, she bottled it.
Oh, but wait a minute, though. Like, that is so much pressure. I can't believe she even tried to do any of that because the amount of judgment that rains down on you in pressure situations where you cannot remember things that you might otherwise know because the size of that. Didn't she mess up while getting to the finals earlier? Didn't she mess up the math? Just because all of that, I think what she did there is so brave, like putting my intellect and speed of my intellect on display for everybody to mock and tell me, oh, I got that in my living room, as if it's the same thing as being out there. Like, I salute her bravery in general, even if she choked at the end.
I watched one of the earlier ones that she was in to get to the final, and I feel like she crushed a cliche category, too. Like, I feel like it's right in her wheelhouse. It's going to hurt extra for her when Jimmy Butler ends up hitting a big shot against the Celtics in the playoffs, and they go, the Butler did it! Ha! Yeah. It's going to be a nightmare.
Celtics fan, loser.
Okay.
Mike,
I feel bad.
How bad did you feel for her?
I felt terribly.
Did you reach out to her?
No, like I was.
You should text her right now. The Butler did it.
I was thinking about as the question was going on, and these are all recorded, so she has since it's not happening live. And I felt like texting. The Butler did it there in that moment, but I just imagined everyone that was rooting for her throughout this entire run was texting her that too, and I'm sure that's not great to experience knowing that you got it wrong.
How about Katie, though?
Stayed away, and I just wanted to support.
For Katie Nolan. Good job, Katie.
Even though you bottled it.
No, see, don't do that. Don't.
She
ruin
bottled it.
like
I think
that.
I think she'd be the first to tell you that she bottled it.
I will tell you that she mocked me a great deal for being at one of your DJ sets the last time we went to a Super Bowl. She took a picture of me. I was coming in from someplace else. I had a sports coat on, and she took a picture of me that was meant to mock me as Proud Dad. And I'm telling you that whatever I felt in that photograph, Mike DJing, I felt the same thing with how Katie dominated this tournament just because she decided to do it. I would be scared. You guys would want to do Celebrity Jeopardy? I would be scared.
After watching the finals,
I'd love to.
I kind of felt pretty good about my chances. Not to be that guy, but
Let's see you do it then. Why don't you do it?
I don't think I have the
I
credentials.
want to see how you would do.
Not even the most famous Mike Ryan. Just like, well, actually, we didn't see the most famous Lisa Ann just win it. So.
Dan, you can get in there.
I would be too scared of it. I wouldn't want to. I would not be brave enough to do it. I wouldn't want my intellect on display, my vulnerability on display
Dan?
there.
You know what the move is, Dan? Just blame the buzzer.
I did that already.
Yeah, no, I saw you. I saw that.
They can
clip.
find that on the internet right now. Boardwalk
Berman.
in baseball, Chris Berman. They can. I got one answer right. This is why I'm telling you these things are more pressurized. Like when I was in college.
Yeah, I remember that.
Boardwalk in baseball. Chris
Greg
Berman.
was 50.
Chris Berman. What do you remember about it?
It was like It was like an awful set. It was like a panel where you were one of like three guys.
Yes,
I
for the
can't remember
University
the
of
other
Miami.
two.
Look, this is what I will tell you. I faced off against Cam from Oklahoma, and Oklahoma kicked my ass, dragged me. And my brother, 15 years later, would just text me to taunt me the word Ford because it's the only question I got right. And I was slow. And all you have in the video is me looking at my buzzer and being mad that it's not going fast enough because that's what you'd face on Jeopardy. You would just find me like yelling at my buzzer.
You were also sweating.
Because of that.
Well,
Right.
he's always sweating. I feel like if I were in Katie's position, I'd just let Dula Hill win. I'm a huge psycho. I mean, I'm not going to beat that guy. I'm a fan of his. I'd be starstruck by everyone. There's no chance I'd get a word in. Let them all win.
I also you guys have seen me deflate when you ask me a simple question from that room to this room, and I implode. I think if I were to do Celebrity Jeopardy, first of all, I'm not famous enough. Second of all, I would definitely laugh immediately, and then I would just be cracking up the whole time behind the thing with my buzzer. Yeah, I'd be like, "What is?"
I'd forget to go, what is? I'd get the question right, but then I'd be penalized for not putting it in a question form, which is the most ridiculous rule in the history of game shows. You you can't just give the answer. You got to say, what is? So ridiculous.
Well, you know
so
they're giving the
pointless.
answer first. It's the answer.
Right, but why do you have to go, what is?
You would have been
to ask the
so mad at Mo Rocca when he Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. He just called it Yellow Brick Road and he got it wrong.
Oh, my God. You can't do that, Mo. What a great name, though, Mo Rocca. I'm not even sure who he is, but I love the name. I think I know who he is. But we do that with you mentioning that you were mocking Katie Nolan for not knowing the Butler did it. My wife and I play that game when we're watching Family Feud, which is like a dumb person's Jeopardy. And
Put it on the poll, please.
Absolutely right.
At Batard Show, is Family Feud like a dumb person's Jeopardy?
but I am a huge fan of Lisa Ann. I will say that. And I mean the other one, not the one on Jeopardy. That kind of thing. And you know it. And you know it. But on Family Feud, we guess what the answer should have been. What's something your husband would hide under a bed? It's ridiculous questions. But then you play at home. That's the beauty of a game show. You play at home. But yeah, I wouldn't... I'd be like you. I'd be so afraid to be betrayed and seen nationally as stupid that I'd be afraid to play. Unless you could rig the game so that all the questions were like about, late 60s Stratomatic baseball or, the history of PFPI, something like that, then I would nail it.
They found it. We have filibustered long enough. There I am, ladies and gentlemen, wearing my best $40
That Dan Aykroyd?
$40 suit right there. Todd Klein dominated. Yep. Bill Reinhard was great. I lost a friendship there because Todd Wright wanted to be selected for the middle seat, and I gave it to Bill Reinhard, and then we lost by 50 points because Cam from Oklahoma. That buzzer, slow. Imagine me yelling at that buzzer while Chris Berman is introducing everyone to Boardwalk in baseball.
You got to pick the team.
I did. Yeah, I was the captain. I got one answer right. Ford.
And look, your strategy is I'm just putting my hands over the buzzer.
That's right.
I don't have to move them at all.
I'm going to get there first.
Yeah, beautiful head of hair, though.